A lot of people start off their EVE Online career with mining in high-sec using a venture. I started playing the game before we had ventures, so I actually used a bestower hauler to do some mining. But high-sec mining is not the most profitable venture in the game, no pun intended. The ISK actually sucks while doing it solo in a venture. If you want to double your income or more, you can try taking your venture into Lowsec. It is more dangerous than high-sec mining, but once you know how to mitigate the risk, it's not that bad. I've tested out these tips and mined around 100 million ISK of ore without losing a single venture. The only downside is that you can't mine completely AFK, you actually have to be present, or you will start losing ventures to both players and Lowsec NPCs. But let's get started with the tutorial. Alright, so let's get started with the fit here, and it's actually not super important. You can have many different fits, but this is the one that I've been using, and I think it has some modules that are essential, and I'll mention which ones those are. But basically, this one has worked pretty well for me, so let's get started here. First of all, the price is under 1 million ISK, so it costs basically nothing. You can lose a lot of these and still be profitable. And in the high slots, we have, of course, the two mining lasers. These are the Gaussian scoped mining lasers. I think they have a bit more range than the regular Tech 1 lasers. But these are, of course, essential that you should have, obviously. And then we have a core probe launcher in case we go into wormhole space so that we can probe our way out of there if we get stuck. This is not a necessary mod, though. Then we have a medium shield extender in the mid slots and a compact EM shield amplifier to just give us a bit more tank so that in case something attacks us, we don't explode immediately. But this is not 100% necessary. You can get away with just having like nothing equipped here. But these modules are very cheap, so I do recommend you buying them. And then we have a 5mn Microwarpdrive. And this one I do really recommend that you have because it helps you a lot to, like, especially in the beginning when you're making bookmarks and stuff, you can burn around a bit faster with a Microwarpdrive. And yeah, it's just useful to have. And then in the low slots we have a mining laser upgrade to give us more yield on our mining lasers. And this one I would also recommend that you keep on your fit. But then we have some rigs here in the rig slots, the small low friction nozzle joint rigs. These are not necessary, but they will make your ship align faster and warp off faster, so that in case you get attacked or whatnot, you can escape a bit faster than you would otherwise. So that's pretty much the fit here. And then one other ship that I would recommend that you get, it depends a bit where you mine. If you have like an Athanor or a Raitaru or something that can compress ore, then you can transport the ore that you mine with the venture to the market. But if you're not so lucky, then you may want to grab one of these Miasmos to haul your ore. So this is a basic fit. It's a cheap fit as well. It's like 4.1 million ISK, which is not that much for a Miasmos. And basically in the mid slots here, we have nothing in the high slots, but in the mid slots we have two of these medium shield extenders, Tech 1, and a EM shield amplifier just to give us some tank, and then a 10mn afterburner just so we can align and warp off a bit faster. If you cycle this one time, then you'll warp off in like 10 seconds or so instead of the 19.78 seconds that it would take otherwise for you to align and warp off. And then in the low slots we have a damage control Tech 1 to give us some more tank, and a warp core stabilizer Tech 1. So if you're jumping through a gate and then on the other side someone tackles you, then you can pulse the warp core stabilizer, pulse your afterburner and warp off, and then you'll maybe escape unless they have like a faction scram or something like that and get you pinned down. But basically it gives you a bit of a better chance of survival in case you get attacked somewhere in Lowsec or whatnot. And then we also have these reinforced bulkheads for some more tank. They are hull tanking modules. And in the rig slots we have a medium EM shield reinforcer and also a thermal and kinetic reinforcer. So these are not necessary, but they do give you some more tank, and they are not that expensive. So I just put them there instead of the medium core defense field extender. Those are a bit more expensive. That would increase the price of the fit. But this is just some cheap way to get a bit extra tank on your ship. So that's pretty much it for the fittings, and they will be in the video description, so you can copy them from there. And yeah, let's move on to the next phase here. Alright, so the next phase would be setting up your overview. And you can start off by setting up your local chat window. So it should always be visible so that you can always see who is in the same system as you. And as you can see here in the lower left, we have a chat window called local. And here is a list of people who are in the same system as me. And this is what you want to keep visible so that you can always know who is in the same system. So basically how you can separate this is you left click on the local chat window on the tab, and then you hold it and drag to the side so that it detaches from the other chat windows. And then you can change the size of the window. I usually like to keep it a bit vertical so that you can see more people who are in local with you. And then I also want to make it a bit more compact, so I don't want to have these portraits that show here at this point. So what I want to do is click here on the vertical 3 dots. It says more when you hover over it, so click on that. Then go to member list and select show compact member list. As we can see now, it only shows the names of the people in local. So if there's a lot of people in local, you can see more of them on this list basically. And then what you also want to do is go back here and select message portraits and then select no portrait, so that if someone types here in local chat, then it won't show their portrait, so it will just show the name and the message basically. Alright, so the next thing you might want to do is set up your overview tabs. So as you can see here on the right, I have there's the overview, and I have a bunch of different tabs here. And the most important tabs is probably for Lowsec mining is the main tab and also the harvest tab, so that you can like see what ores are close to you and whatnot. And then the main tab will show all the ships that are close to you, and it will also help in your D-scan. So, and we'll get into that in a bit. So basically, to set up an overview like this, there are many different options, and the first thing I would recommend you to do is actually back up your overview that you had when you started. And you can do that by opening up your notepad. So you go to the Neocom menu on the top left here, and then I think it's in utilities. Select notepad, and once you're here in the notepad, you can click here on new note and just type in overview and press OK. Alright, so now we have a new note here where you can just copy your overview to the note. And how you do that is you go here where it says overview on the right and click on the vertical 3 dots. It says more when you hover over it, and then you go to open overview settings. And then you click here where it says share. So you click, hold, and drag it into the notepad. And there you go. Now you have saved your original overview. So if you want to ever go back to it, you can just click to it from here. You can just click on this and then load the overview profile, and then you'll have your original overview back. So, but if you want to have this overview, for example, there are other preset options. I made this one personally like many years ago, and I have modified it, and I do update it when needed. So basically what you can do is you can click here on the plus icon on your chat window. It says open channel window, and then you type in here, the channel name is Voyager Syndicate. Just type that and then press join. Alright, so now that you're in the Voyager Syndicate channel, there's a thing called overview here, VSY overview. So you just click on that, and then you click on yes. And there we go. Now you have loaded the Voyager Syndicate overview. So that's easy, and that's how you do it. So then the next phase of the setting up your overview would be setting up your directional scanner. So you can either press Alt-D on your keyboard to open it up, or then you can go down here to where it says scanners, and then click on the directional scanner here to the right. Now by default I have these so that they are always on top, but by default you will see this full screen map window. But what you can, and you can see really the D-scan, the directional scanner. So what you want to do is click here on this square icon and then click on floating. And as you can see, here is the directional scanner, and what you want to do is detach the directional scanner from your map here. So you can click on this little square with a little square inside it. It says separate, open in separate window. So you click on that, and then your directional scanner will pop out here. So it will probably be separated like this, but basically you can drag it and position it somewhere so that you can always see it. So then if you want to descan something, you want to make sure that the range is set to like maximum, and then the angle is 360. So then you can click on scan, and it will see what ships are in range of your descan. But keep in mind that cloaked ships will not appear on your directional scanner. And also the combat recon ships are like immune to descan, so they don't appear on the directional scanner. So you got to watch out for that. But basically setting up your overview and setting up the local chat and then the directional scanner, those are kind of the three main things that you want to have set up before you go out to do any Lowsec mining. Alright, so before you actually start mining in Lowsec, you want to do a bit of research as to what system you will be heading out to. You don't want to just go to the first Lowsec system that you find and warp to the first belt and start mining. So there's this website called .land evemaps. The address is evemaps.dotland.net. It'll also be in the video description, so you can click to it from there. So here you can see region maps. So you want to select a region that you want to base out of, and then just click on that region. I'm in Essence right now, so I'm just going to click on Essence. And as you can see, here are all the systems in the Essence region. Now the systems that have this dashed red line around them, they are Lowsec systems. And the ones that have the green line around them, they are Highsec systems. And then there's also these that also have a blue line around them, and they are ice mining systems. So basically where I'm based at is right now is Energies with this character, not with my main though. I base out of a different place with my main, but for this little experiment that I did, I was based in Energies. So Energies has a number of Lowsec systems nearby, like Holmate, Onni, and Vitrause, and also Palman. So these are basically the systems that I've been doing some Lowsec mining at currently. So the next thing that you want to check out before you actually go to a specific Lowsec system is you want to check out how much activity there has been there. So here where it says sovereignty, there's like a drop down menu. I know you can't see it when I click on it, but you just want to click here and then scroll down to jumps per 24 hours. So you just click on that. Now you can see it jumps 24 hours here, and you can see how active a system is. So if it's really active like Renyon here or Algogil, they are actually part of a trade route, so they have a lot of jumps, a lot of ships have jumped through them, and that's why they are red and orange and whatnot, and that indicates that they have a lot of activity. But if we look at Energies and Holmate, they actually have very low activity, so they are white. The background of the system here is white, and the numbers are very low, so there's not been a lot of people jumping through these systems. But then we also check Lowsec here in the north of Essence, and we can see Hades has quite a bit of activity, like jump activity, and it is actually a faction warfare system, and you basically want to avoid faction warfare because there's a lot more PvP activity there. You want to go for the systems that are not part of faction warfare. So then the next statistic that we want to check out here is ship and pod kills 24 hours. So as you can see in Hades, there's like 354 ship kills in the last 24 hours, but down here in Holmate, it's only 6 kills per 24 hours, so that's a very low number. You can see that the background here is also white, which means that it's lower than the average of the region. But the average is bumped up quite a bit by Hades. That's basically the most active system in this region. But basically this indicates that, you know, Holmate only has 2 kills, and Vitrause and Palman have 0 kills in the last 24 hours. So these are quite safe systems to actually base out of. You just have to, you still have to be like vigilant, and you can't go AFK mining or anything like that. But they are like a lot safer than, for example, Hadalees or whatnot. And then the next thing that you want to check, that you want to have in the system that you're actually going to be based out of, is a station. So as you can see, Hullmate has this square icon next to it with like the red thing here on top, and that means that there's a station with some I don't remember what service the red one was, but basically if it has this square here, then that means that there's a station in the system. So Vitrause has a station, Palman has a station, Energies, the HiSec system that I mainly base out of, has a station. It actually has 2 stations, but yeah. So that's what you want to check out for as well, because you want to probably deposit your ore into the station, and you don't want to have to you know, go all the way back to your HiSec base to do it. So basically what you want to do is you want to mine, for example, let's say in Palman, and you put the ore inside the station, and then you get back into the belts, and then when you're done mining and you want to transport everything to the market hub, then you want to grab your Miasmos and you want to put all the ore into the Miasmos and then go back into back to HiSec with that. So but if you are based for example in a system that's next to HiSec, like if you were to be mining in Hullmate, for example, what I did was I would actually deposit all my ore into a station in Energies, and just use the gate to Energies, and then put the ore into the station and then go back to Hullmate. So that's an option as well, although you have to be aware that systems which are directly connected to HiSec are much more active in terms of PvPers and pirates and that kind of stuff. They usually check these systems first, and then go deeper into Lowsec. So that's something to keep in mind. And also, before you actually start moving all your ships to a Lowsec system or a HiSec system near Lowsec, you want to actually check that the systems that you're going to be mining at actually have belts. Because not every not every Lowsec system has asteroid belts, or some of them have very few belts. So for example, Hullmate, let's just click on Hullmate here and then go to Celestials, and we can see that Hullmate has a lot of belts. It has like 6 belts here on Planet 2, and then Planet 3 has an additional 15 belts, and then we also have some additional belts down here. But basically Hullmate is a good choice for mining because it has a lot of belts here. But let's check out some of the other ones. I don't recall, like, let's check out Vitrause, for example. Yeah, Vitrause has some belts, a few belts here, and yeah, it has enough belts. Like, I would say aim for a system with at least 5 belts, possibly more, because like you want to be able to jump around a bit to different belts if they run out of the good stuff. Like, and then there's also NPC spawns in the belts. So if you're mining in a belt and there's like a bunch of cruisers or whatever that spawn, the NPC pirates that spawn in the belt, you might not be able to kill them with the Venture. You could also bring like a combat PvE ship to the system that you're mining at, the Lowsec system. If it has a station, you can base out of there, and you can use that to kill the NPCs. But what I've been doing is I've just been warping to a different belt when the NPCs appear. So yeah, that's pretty much that. And then there's also zkillboard, which is another useful website, zkillboard.com. So you can search for the system here in the search field that you want to base out of and do some additional research. So for example, in Hullmate here, we can see that Shadow Cartel has been very active in this system, killing a bunch of stuff, destroying many ships. So we might want to add Shadow Cartel as like a hostile in our contacts, so that we see better when they are in system, when a Shadow Cartel person is in system, and then we'll know basically to watch out for them. So zkillboard is another good tool when you do your research on the system that you want to actually start your mining operation at. Alright, so the next thing that you want to do once you've found a Lowsec system that you want to mine at is actually create some bookmarks in the asteroid belts. Now the asteroid belts, they always spawn at the same spot every day, so once you make a bookmark here you can use it basically forever. So the first thing that you want to do is create a folder. So you click here on create folder. So to open up your bookmarks folder you actually just have to press L on your keyboard, or you can find it in the Neocom menu. And then you name your folder and click submit, and it should be a personal folder. Well, you could maybe make a shared folder if you have many accounts or whatever and you want to share your bookmarks, but personal folder should be fine if you're a solo player. Once you have that, like I have Bazooka Bookmarks here, you want to create a subfolder so that you can organize your bookmarks. Like I have the Ore Sites subfolder here, so you just click on create subfolder and you have the main folder here, and then name your subfolder, and then just click on submit. Alright, so once you've created the subfolder, as you can see here, I have a bunch of bookmarks here for ore sites, for different asteroid belts basically, so that I can just select one of these and warp to them, and I can start mining a lot faster, because as you can see, this here is the spot where if you warp to the asteroid belt you'll land at this spot, but the asteroids themselves are like far away from the warp-in spot, so it'll save you a lot of time if you have these bookmarks. And it also makes it less likely for people to catch you, because if they're hunting you then they'll actually land here, and this is about 28 kilometers away from me right now, so they'll land far away from me basically. So you want to make it so that the warp-in spot and the asteroids, which are like here, are kind of in between you and your bookmark, so that there's kind of a distance here. So you want to have at least a 25-kilometer distance from the warp-in spot of the belt. Alright, so once you've found a good spot, what you want to do is left click on your ship, select the plus sign here, and then select save location. Alright, so then you save the location, like for example site 8 would be the next on my list, and then you select the folder, the subfolder that you want to add it to, and you select expiry as never, and then you click on submit. Alright, so now we have a bookmark made here, and basically once NPCs arrive, or if like player pirates, well, if player pirates start hunting me in this system, I'll probably warp to Energies to get back to high-sec and maybe mine a bit in high-sec for a while. But if NPCs arrive, then I'll just select another bookmark that I have here and warp to it, and then resume my mining operations. A few more tips about the bookmarks here. Now, first of all, what you don't want to do is select the bookmark in the first belt, because the first belt of the system is usually where all the pirates and hunters go to first, so you're much more likely to get caught if you're mining in belt number 1. And then also the bookmarks that you have, you want to select like a random belt here, and then go to that and make a bookmark and make that like site 1, and then select another random belt and make that as site 2, and so on, so that you kind of randomize the order of your bookmarks, that they're not sequential with the order of these asteroid belts in the system. So that makes stuff a bit more random, a bit more unpredictable if someone is hunting you and you're warping around the system or whatnot. So that helps you to evade capture a bit more. So that's pretty much it with the bookmarks and stuff. Set up and you're ready to mine. What you basically want to do once you're in the field at one of your bookmarks and mining is actually look at local chat. So you want to keep an eye on local chat and see if there's any threats that are coming into the system with you. So if I, for example, double left click on one of these guys, I can see their security status is 0.2, which means that they're not like a huge threat potentially. If the security status would be minus something, then it's an indication that they have actually attacked someone in Lowsec possibly, and that might mean that they're a pirate or something and possibly out to get me basically. So That's one way to keep an eye on local. Then you can also use a website called localthreat.xyz. And the way you use that is you click on one of the names in local chat, press Ctrl A and then Ctrl C to copy the whole list to your clipboard. And then you go to localthreat.xyz and paste the whole local chat list there. And you can see basically if they've had any recent PvP activity. So the next thing that you want to do is keep an eye on the directional scanner. So you want to keep it visible at all times, and then when you want to refresh the scanner, you just press on the scan button, or you can press on V on your keyboard, and that'll also refresh the scan. As you can see, there's one PvP potential PvP ship, an Incursus frigate on the scanner. These retrievers are just NPC mining barges. They are not a threat, but one of these guys is in an Incursus frigate, so he's probably doing some belt ratting, I think, or he may be hunting for targets to kill, I don't know. But basically, you want to watch out for any PvP ships here in the directional scanner. And it gets some time. You can look up the ships that you find on the directional scanner and see if they're PvP ships. It takes some time for you to get to know which ships are potential threats and which are not. Alright, so if you're actually being hunted in Lowsec, what you want to do, or what I would do, is I'm in Wholemate right now, so if I'm being hunted, I'll probably just leave the system and go to Energies and mine in Highsec for a bit, and then after like 10-15 minutes I'll come back into Wholemate and see if the same person that started to hunt me, like if they warped in on me on the belt here, I'll see if they're still in the system. And then if they're not, I'll just continue mining at one of my bookmarks. But if I were in Onni, for example, I would probably go into Wholemate and start mining in Wholemate. So I'll have a bunch of bookmarks in different systems around the area, so that I can quickly restart my mining after, you know, escaping from someone who's trying to hunt me. Oh yeah, and one more thing to watch out for in the directional scanner is combat probes. So they're called Sisters combat probes, are the most frequently used ones, but also regular combat probes might be a threat. So that basically concludes this little tutorial, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in another video. Fly safe.